Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It has been almost a year since I made my last video, which is crazy. I had so many plans, so many hopes for this channel. I was ready, I bought equipment. It was a hard time trying to figure out a schedule with 3 kids as a single mom. Like, it was just not working for your girl. And then I would record videos and then would never go to edit them, because who didn't tell me that editing was going to take that much time? Like, somebody could have warned me. So I never will post them, and then basically I would be back at square one. And so I just told myself that I was going to give myself some time to get it together, because I I do enjoy videos. I've only made a few so far, but I did enjoy them, and I can't wait to get back into it. For this video, I am going to go over all the books I plan on reading in October, which is my favorite month of the year. 1, because Halloween is my favorite holiday, and 2, because I was born in October. My birthday's in 9 days. I have no clue what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. But for this video, we're going to go over all the books that I plan on reading for October. So I do try to stick to mystery, thrillers, horror, creepy, even if it's like a fantasy or a literary fiction. I just want it to be a little spookier, you know. Doesn't have to be necessarily scary. I just want the vibes. For that reason, the first book that I plan on picking up this month is Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. This will be my 3rd Lisa Jewell. I've managed to read a Lisa Jewell every October. I do plan on reading most of her books because I do enjoy them. I'm not that big of a mystery thriller reader or horror reader, but her books really draw me in, and I love her writing style. I just finished this one today, and it was really good. I will say that The Family Upstairs is still my favorite, but I think this came in as a close second. Like, I almost predicted, I pretty much predicted, but I didn't quite predict the ending of this one. But it's really good. It follows a family called the Fours. Rowan Four is a child psychologist. Kate Four is a physiologist. How you say that? Physiologist. And they live across the street from Owen Pick, who is kind of creepy, kind of weird. Like, he just gives off off-putting vibes. And basically a young girl goes missing from around this area, and they have to figure out what happened to her and who did it. The most likely suspect is Owen. However, the girl has a link in her past to the husband, Rowan. I couldn't even think of his name. Rowan Four. And so you spend part of the book following the investigators as they trying to figure out what happened to Sapphire, is her name. And then you follow Sapphire herself as leading up to when she goes missing. And like I said, it's really good. I love her dual perspective. She always does this leading up to the event and present day going backwards, trying to unveil or reveal what happened, or, you know, present day, the present day lives of the people involved, and then a dual perspective where it's the past leading up to the event. And I don't know, just the way she does that is really good. And I always seem to read her books in like a day. Like, I finished this in a day and a half, and it was amazing. Next on my list is another Lisa Jewell. I don't know why. I own, I think, 2 more, and I just decided that I was going to try to bust 2 out this October instead of 1. And this one, I think, is her newest one. I think I got this one a couple of months ago from Book of the Month, and it's The Night She Disappeared. I'm not quite sure what this one is about. I think it has something to do with a young couple who just had a baby, and they haven't had a lot of time for themselves. They decide to go out on a date, but they never come back. If I'm not mistaken, the male's family is, you know, pretty much convinced, or has come to the conclusion that maybe they just didn't want to be parents no more, and they just disappeared and left the responsibility of their baby with someone else. But the girl's mother's like, this is not my daughter, this is not, you know, something she would do, and she's convinced something terrible has happened. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as all her other books, and so I can't wait. I might pick this one up today, to start tonight before bed, since I just finished the last read and I need something else to pick up. The biggest book and the book that I'm most focused on for this month is The Stand by Stephen King. I actually started this a while ago. I did start over yesterday because I did not remember what happened in the prologue or the first chapter, so I started it over, and I'm trying to chuck away at this like bit by bit per day. So I think I'm gonna do like a chapter or two a day until Tome Topple starts at the end of the month. I think it starts on the 18th, and then I'm gonna pick this up for my read for Tome Topple. But I don't know much about it. I really don't like knowing anything about books when I read them, so it's kind of hard for me to give some synopsises. But I do know that this is about a sickness. You have about a 95% chance that you'll catch it if you come in contact with it. And basically it starts the apocalypse and all the politics and scariness that goes with it. To me, I get the, what is it called? The Walking Dead vibes, except there's no Walking Dead. Like, for some reason, that's what I picture in my head. I don't even know if that makes sense. If you read it, you could tell me if that makes sense. But I get Walking Dead without the Walking Dead vibes from this. But it is good. I do like Stephen King's writing. I've read about 4 books so far. I'm reading his in order, and it's getting to a point where I'm getting comfortable with his writing. So his writing is kind of like comforting to me, and I like it. So The Stand is my priority for this month. It needs to be finished this month. Another book that I have that I want to try to get to. I'm not going to promise that I read it because I have tried to read this author before, and for some reason the stories do not grip me. Well, the one I tried before did not grip me, and that is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I tried to read not Final Girls, but Lock Every Door, and for some reason, don't kill me, but the entire premise of that book throws me off. Because soon as they ask the girl to stay in that creepy hotel, don't talk to nobody, don't leave your room after a certain hour, don't do this. As soon as they gave that full checklist at this creepy place to live and said, we'll pay you to stay here, you just can't do all these things, and it basically was like, breathe, don't do nothing but breathe, I would have left. And I don't understand how anybody would be like, okay. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And because of that, I could not get past chapter 1. Like, my brain just was like, put it down. I cannot do it. So I really want to read one of his books because I keep picking him up from Book of the Month. But that one is just going to have to wait until I figure out what this one is talking about. And the only thing I know about this one is a girl had lived in a creepy house when she was younger. Something happened, or may not have happened. Her dad writes a book about it. It's supposed to be a fictional book, but some people believe, or the father is insinuated, that some of the things that happen in the book is real. If I'm not mistaken, the father passes away, and now the girl has to go back to this house to clear some things out, and she is now struggling with whether the things her dad wrote in that book is real or not, and if this house got some scurry stuff going on. Like, we don't know. And this one is giving me like haunted house vibes, which I know Like Every Door is supposed to give me haunted house vibes, but like I said, the whole premise of that kind of threw me off. But this one is more up my speed, I think. Again, I'm not a thriller person, but I'm hoping I like it. Like, we're gonna try it and see. It's not long at all. I think if I really put effort into it, probably take me 2 days to get through this book. But we'll see. Next on my list for spooky reads is a book that I've had for probably 4 years. I think, when did this book come out? I don't know. I think I've had this for 4 years, if not more. Yep, 4 years. Because it was the year I had my daughter. And I've been wanting to read it ever since then. But it sits on my, like, coffee table in my living room, and I never actually pick it up to read it. And that is my favorite thing, is monsters. And I remember I bought this book because how uniquely it was written. If I don't know exactly, I don't remember, but I think the person who wrote this book, Emma Ferris, was injured, if I'm not mistaken. I think she was injured and bedridden, and so she was in the process of writing a book and decided to put pen to paper and literally draw out and write a book. And when she was finally done, instead of like transferring it to like digital, I guess, they printed it in her original artwork, if I'm not mistaken. So the illustrations in here are just, as an artist myself, the illustrations in here are amazing. Again, I can't tell you what it's about. but we're gonna read it. It shouldn't be that long because it's pretty much like a graphic novel slash comic book, but it is gigantic, so I'm not gonna say it's gonna take me a day or two, but I think it's gonna be amazing. I just really think it's cool that you can literally see the lines of the, like, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the lines from the, she used like regular, I just hit myself in the lip, y'all don't see that. She used regular line paper to do this, and I think that's just real dope. So we gonna get to this month because I've had it for 4 years and it's about time I read it. Other potentials that I'm not gonna guarantee because I do have some other books that I need to talk about, but other possibilities that I have are Monstrous Volume 1, another book I've had for over 4 years that I wanted to read. But as much as graphic novels are easy and fast and quick, they do not draw my attention as much as I would like them to, and so I forget about them even when I buy them. But I'm going to try to get through Monstrous this month. If I really dedicated the time, it would probably take me like 2-3 hours to read it, but I gotta remember to pick it up, and that's my problem. And lastly, again, it's not technically on my TBR, but if I do manage to get through all my books, or a decent way through the books that I want to read, I plan on picking up Guards by Terry Pratchett. This is going to be my first Terry Pratchett. I've had this book for about 2 years now. I've put it on about 4 TBRs, but I never actually grab it because thrillers are not my favorite and middle grade is not either. But I know I'm gonna love these books because I do love big gigantic worlds where there's like multiple trilogies or multiple sets of books in this big world, and I know the more you read into his world, the better the books become because they're interlinked within each other. I just have to get started, and so those are going to be the main focuses for this month. But I do try to participate in Booktober every year, and every year I put the same one book on my TBR for the past 3 years of Booktober, which is basically when you read like Victorian literature for October, and there is one Victorian literature book that is also kind of like a spooky book, and that is Dracula. This book I've been wanting to read for the past 3 years, and I put it on my TBR for 3 years, and I started for the past 3 years. I just have yet to finish it. Last year, according to this bookmark, I made it to chapter 6. Do I know my Roman numerals? I made it to chapter 6, and that is it. And mind you, I think I made it past it. I think I just didn't change the bookmark because I was listening to it on audio. But that's because the very beginning of this book is boring. And so the first 2 years, I couldn't even get past the very beginning of this book. And then the third year, I did get past the beginning of the book, and I got to the interesting part, but I didn't pay that much attention to the beginning of the part, so I was kind of lost on who the characters was, and then it threw me off, and I was like, I'm not going to start over. So this year, I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to do a chapter a day type of thing like The Stand with this one until I get to the end of the month, and then I'll prioritize this the last week of the month and just finish it off. And hopefully that way I can get through it, because I want to read the book before I rewatch the movies. And I've always been like a vampire type of person, so I like vampire movies during Halloween, and I definitely like Dracula movies, but for some reason I can't get the book because the book is nothing like, y'all know if y'all read it, the book is nothing like the movie. So I think I was tricked, and that's why I can't get through this book. But we're gonna try this month. 2021 Brandy is gonna finish Dracula. Lastly, these books are not on my TBR. These are books that I started these books, and these are part of series that I was supposed to be participating in with other booktubers, and I started the series way back in I think February of this year, and then I went through a huge reading slump, and then I started reading again. But when I started back reading again, I was mood reading, and that's normally how I get out of my slumps, is by not pressuring myself to read specific things. But because of that, these books and series that I started the end of last year, beginning of this year, I kind of neglected, and I want to at least pick them up. They are not on my TBR, so if I don't finish these, it's no pressure, but I will be dabbling in and out of them to make some progress in them. And the first one is Memories of Ice. I did read a chapter of this yesterday, but I did come to realize that I need to review the 10 Very Big Books podcast of the ending of the last book, just so I can refresh my memory on where we're at in the book, and then go through my I think it's Dead House Gates is the last book, and look at some of my sticky notes I put in there just to refresh myself for what was going on, because I think I'm a little bit lost. And if y'all read these books, y'all know these books have too much going on. You can't get lost in these books. Like, they already confusing when you caught up. Like, I'm gonna have to figure it out. But I do plan on getting at least 200-300 pages into this month, and then next month I will add it back to my TBR. The next one, which I think I can get through this one, because even though it's huge, these books is really easy to read. Like, I don't even know why I have not finished this book, and then the series is coming out and it's only covering the first 2 books, and I'm still yet to finish the second book, and where am I at? I'm 200 pages in. Like, I can finish this in a couple of days if I really put my mind to it. And that is Robert Jordan's The Great Hunt. Wheel of Time series is coming out. I can't wait to watch it, but I need to finish this one before I can watch it, and I don't want to be behind like I am with the Foundations. Like, I have not watched any of the Foundation series yet because I've still yet to read the book. This is one book that I do hope to get through by the end of the month, because I don't remember for sure when the show is starting, but this is one show that I want to start when it starts. Like, I don't want to have to push back episode 1 because I'm still reading the book. Like, I'm trying to have this completely read. Then the last 2 books, which again are, one of them is, and I'm gonna start with that one, definitely on my TBR, and that is because I have managed to participate in all 3 rounds of the Booktube Spin. However, I've yet to read any one of the the books that I select, or that is selected for me for the Booktube Spin, and I'm determined to read this one. So again, it's not officially on this TBR because this is my spooky season and I do not want to get back in the slump, so I'm not trying to pressure myself to read stuff that I'm not in the mood for right now. But if I do manage to read all the thrillers and I have time to pick up other things, this would be then my priority, because this was my last Booktube Spin number 3 selection, and I did start it, but I just didn't have the brain space at the time to pick up any type of fantasy, so I kept reading literary fiction, and that's another thing. When I get into a slump, it's normally one specific genre that I just can't fathom at the time, and for some reason it was fantasy. I couldn't do fantasy or any type of sci-fi. I can only do contemporary or general fiction. This one just had to wait, and now that I'm ready, so we're gonna read this. Like I said, if it's not finished by the end of this month, it would definitely be finishing, or I will be finishing it next month. And the very last book that I'm going to talk about is a book that I wanted to read because the movie is coming out, and I'm pretty sure, I think I put this in the TBR already, but it is Dune. I have still not read. I've had this on my TBR for about 6 months now, and I have not finished it. I did start it, and I did annotate it. This is a book that I really want to finish annotating. Annotating this book is really fun. And because of the annotations, again, I don't have to start over. I have detailed notes in here about what's going on in my thoughts at the time. And so I plan on simply picking up where I left off at. This is also another book. I think the movie comes out next month. And so I'm going to dabble in and out of this one if I have the time. If I don't finish them this month, Dune and The Great Hunt will be my #1 priorities in November, so that I can be ready for the show and the movie respectively when they come out. So that is it for all the books that I plan on reading in October. I do hope to keep this momentum going with recording these videos, and I plan on recording my wrap up. I don't know if I'm going to do a September wrap up or all the books I read since my last video, because again, I was in a slump for most of it, so there is not a huge amount of books. I think there's only about 10 books that I read during the course of that whole 6 months, which is crazy because I normally read 10 books in a month. That's just sad. But I'm trying to figure out which one of those I'm going to do. I also want to do a Booktube newbie check, which is something I planned to do when I first started this channel, but I never got around to doing it. And so I do plan on getting to that soon, and I also plan on doing weekly updates on the things that I'm reading and getting those to you by Monday. I think originally I was hoping to do Friday reads, but I have to, most of the time I record on Friday, so I never get them to you Friday, and by the time I get them to you it's like Monday. And so I'm just going to do weekly reading updates and not call them Friday reads, and record them Friday or Saturday for the upcoming week, and I would just talk about everything I have finished at the time and that what's coming up next, and hopefully that works for everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you plan on reading for October and any plans you have. Do you celebrate Halloween? Do you not celebrate Halloween? I don't tend to dress up. I'm more of a scary movie, Halloween treats, go trick-or-treating with my kids type of person. But my costumes normally is basic for me because I just don't be having time to be doing the costumes. But Halloween is my favorite year, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments and seeing what you guys have been up to. Thank you so much for watching my video again, and have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween season.